That's it, I'm sold. Before the GameCube was released, there was a tradition that went on for the launch of every Nintendo console. Every single one of them would release with a new Mario platformer. The NES was Super Mario Bros. / Duck Hunt, the Super Nintendo was Super Mario World, and the Nintendo 64 with Super Mario 64. But the GameCube was a strange case, as it didn't release with a traditional Mario title. As the system would release in America in November 2001, Super Mario Sunshine wouldn't be out until the following year of 2002, but it did launch with a Mario game, but just not one that many were expecting. Up until the series was finally getting new installments, this title was either seen as a hidden classic or a game with mixed reception, and that game was Luigi's Mansion. Luigi receives a letter telling him that he won a contest and earned a grand prize of a giant mansion, but there's just one thing. Luigi never entered any kind of contest. He tells his brother Mario as they agree to look at this mansion. Mario goes ahead only for him to completely disappear. Luigi is left alone in his dark, eerie mansion. But except he's not alone, as the entire building is filled to the brim with ghosts ready to attack on sight. He meets a strange old man trying to suck up the ghosts with a vacuum. This is Professor Egad. During the 2000s, he was pretty much the inventor of the Mario series, as his influence was even seen in other games such as Super Mario Sunshine as the creator of Flood, and Mario and Luigi with a full-on time machine. But how come we don't see his influence that much these days? I might not have needed to explain who he was if his influence was still there. Well, in recent years, Nintendo has been trying to make the entirety of the franchise go under a certain mold. Some characters, unless it was for a specific celebration or something like Collectibles and Smash, are rarely ever used and others completely benched. Some of these included not only Egad, but also Toadsworth, Paper Mario's pre-Sticker Star party members, and others. The only reason Egad is still alive is because of the newer Luigi's Mansion titles, but his mark on the Mario universe nowadays is basically non-existent. Anyway, Egad notifies Luigi that the mansion wasn't built naturally, but instead manifested supernaturally. He saw Mario go into the mansion, but had lost sight of him, leading to the assumption that Mario was kidnapped. Due to Egad's age, he is no longer able to hunt down ghosts like he used to, so he entrusts his vacuum, the Poltergust 3000, to Luigi, so that he can hunt down every ghoul in his path and save his brother before it's too late. Luigi's Mansion is not your standard Mario title. Instead of running and jumping through platforming levels, you are stuck on the ground with no ability to jump, in a large multi-floored open mansion. Your objective is to search around this mansion and suck up all the portrait ghosts, which opens up more rooms and floors for you to explore. Don't worry, if you get lost, you can use the Game Boy Horror, another Egad device which has a map of the entire mansion and will tell you where you need to go next. You can also make it go into camera mode to find secrets and fast travel if you use this function on a mirror. Doing so will send you right back to the beginning of the mansion, but on your way you'll run into ghosts. To suck any enemy, all you have to do is aim your flashlight at them. Once they freeze in place with their heart exposed, you turn on your vacuum to suck them away. But it's not that simple, as all ghosts have health, so you'll have to keep sucking on them until they're weak enough to store away like your dirty little secrets. Don't worry, I won't tell, but I'm very disappointed in you. As you're sucking them up, they'll try to escape, so you have to pull both analog sticks away from the ghost's direction. If done right, you can suck them on the first go. This is actually a really cool idea, as there wasn't really a lot of games that utilized dual analog stick gameplay. Mine is using the right stick as a camera. There were some, such as Ape Escape, which was specifically made to advertise the PS1 dual stick controller. But being a completely 3D game, it had some camera issues. But Luigi's Mansion doesn't have to worry about that, as its camera is in a fixed perspective. As you progress, you'll also get elemental abilities such as fire, water, and ice, used to solve puzzles and fight elemental ghosts. The biggest problem I have with this is perspective issues. It can be hard sometimes to aim the poltergeist and properly get it in the direction you need. There is no lock-on this game, which would be helpful, but the problem does get better in later installments. Once you find any portrait ghost, you must search around the room they were in to figure out their weakness, as when you first walk in the room they really don't seem to care until you figure out what ticks them off. Like hitting a baby in the face with a ball! It was almost like having to earn the fight, as some ghosts weren't even violent. They were just minding their own business until Luigi storms in and ruins their life. They're just minding their own business and here comes Luigi. For many people, the portrait ghosts were the best part of Luigi's Mansion, as they filled this title with personality and charm. But before you get excited for the storytelling and lore, Nintendo had to stop your fun before it could even start. The game clarifies that none of these entities are actually ghosts, and that they are simply paintings brought to life, which makes no sense. Each ghost has their own room that's seemingly made for them, and in the beginning of the game, paintings talk to Luigi, all of which are human versions of the ghosts that you face, though this connects to one thing that changed in development. Believe it or not, this game was planned to be rated T, but the only reason they didn't go through with it was because Miyamoto didn't think the ghosts would really hurt or scare anybody. Wait, so does that mean Luigi's Mansion was meant to be a full-on survival horror game at one point? And going back on the rating, keep in mind that 2005 Shadow the Hedgehog, which is filled with swearing and realistic guns, was only rated E10+. What could Luigi's Mansion have even done to make it rated T to begin with? We've been seeing all these Giga Leaks or old alphas come out recently for several Nintendo games. The Nintendo 64 version of Dinosaur Planet, Luigi and Mario 64, Raptor Yoshi, how Yoshi's Island was meant to be a Donkey Kong game, and so many others. I'm wondering if there's any content out there pertaining to this rated T survival horror Luigi's Mansion, since Eternal Darkness, a game that Miyamoto was also involved in, was in development for a 2002 release. I wouldn't be shocked if some early Luigi's Mansion concepts were moved for this game. Please! I've been wanting a survival horror Mario game for years! I just want a peek, I'll take anything! But going back to the review, for those who want to do more than just beat the game, then keep in mind there are a few optional ghosts that you could miss on each floor. So if you want to do well, then explore and keep an eye on your surroundings. You may even find a secret ghost, which if you find it, you only have one shot at catching it. If you succeed, then you'll be given a large amount of money. If you fail, then they're gone forever. Speaking of money, that's something you also have to look out for. Money is treated as a score in this game, and the higher your balance is, the better the mansion you get at the end of the game is. You'll need to look at every corner and search for every secret if you want a new sizable home. There are coins, dollar bills, gold bars, jewels which are hidden throughout the mansion, pearls which you get from portrait ghosts, and the amount you get is based on your performance. There's also diamonds, and the most valuable of them all is the gold diamond. There are only 2 gold diamonds in the game. One of them involves you watering a plant multiple times after several game events, and the other you get after catching every single boo in the game. Oh, and did I forget to mention boos? Well, during an early point in the game, Luigi accidentally frees 50 boos and King Boo, the main villain of the game. Boos are hidden in almost every room. The Game Boy Horror has a flashing light that tells you if there's a boo close by. Yellow means there's one in this room, red means you're right next to one, and when the light's off, that means there's no boo in your current location. Boos do not need the flashlight to be sucked up, but they're the most resilient, as you don't use the analog stick like before, but instead you try and drag the ghost to you. If you fail, then they escape by going through the wall. All you have to do is follow them to the next room. But this can get a little annoying, especially if they go into a room you have no access to yet, or a room that forces you to circle around the mansion just to get another chance. As you get through the game, it gets really annoying as their health starts getting to the hundreds, and you have to go back and forth, whittling them down until you're finally got them 10 minutes later. But it's all worth it. Just be sure you save after you get the gold diamond. While recording this footage, I got all 50 boos, but after you catch a boo, you save the game. But the gold diamond has to be picked up after this. If you don't save after you pick up the gold diamond and lose all of your HP, then all 50 boos will still be counted as caught. The gold diamond won't appear in your inventory, as you technically didn't pick it up before the last save. And don't bother going back to the same location where you got it, because it'll be as good as gone. You lose the gold diamond forever at this point. And I didn't even realize it until I already beat the game. That's an issue for sure, but an avoidable one as long as you know what you're doing. but one good thing you can't miss is these visuals. The game looks great for being a 6th-gen console launch title, as many games from 2001 look like this. I also like the style that they were going for. Everything is still shaped like a cartoon, but with realistic detailed textures to give an eerie look. The dark hallway jingle has also become synonymous with the game. After Luigi's Mansion, we had to wait over a decade for another title on the 3DS. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. While the game isn't bad, it did get rid of the personality the first game had, with more bland-looking ghosts, no portrait ghosts, and instead of one big mansion, it's a mission-based game with multiple locations. This disappointed many fans, so they were skeptical when a third game was announced for the Switch. Thankfully, the developers, Next Level Games, filled this game with even more charm than the original had, and even made a happy balance between both games. From the ghosts, the return of the portrait bosses, an open area that still has a level-by-level structure with a hotel, and while the game is more cartoony than the first, it still has a lot of detail. Now if only I wasn't a poor boy and had enough memory on my Switch to get this game. But it's good to know that Luigi's Mansion no longer has to be a hidden gem, as its later installments helped it become a mainstay. Well deserved, as Luigi's Mansion is actually one of my favorite games of all time. And no, that's not nostalgia talking, as I didn't get a GameCube until an entire generation after it was replaced by the Wii, as my main system at the time was a PlayStation 2. And I never actually went through the game until last year, and only learned about it through videos from YouTubers that I used to watch back then. Playing this 6th-gen launch title during the early days of the 9th generation, and I still consider it one of my favorites. That tells me that the game is worth trying out. Though I still want to see a survival horror Mario game starring Waluigi. I'm not kidding.